I want to talk about the word "thee" in the King James Bible and why it's important. Okay, the word "thee" appears over 2,700 times in the King James Bible, and the first 3 times it's used is in Genesis chapter 3. Okay, so I'm going to read some verses to show you how it's used. Starting at verse 9, and the Lord God called unto Adam and said unto him, Where art thou? Okay, so he's talking to Adam. Okay, and he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked and I hid myself. And God's reply, he says, Who told thee that thou wast naked? So he's not talking to Adam and Eve, he's talking to Adam. Who told thee that thou wast naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree where I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat? Okay, remember, he's having a conversation with Adam, specifically Adam. So you see that thee is referring to, in this context, Adam, a single person. Okay. Now, in verse 14, God starts talking to the serpent. Right? And obviously, all this is in the context of after Adam and Eve sinned. Okay. So in verse 14, God talks to the serpent. And then in verse 15, he's still talking to the serpent. And he says, And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. But, the second time the word thee is used in the Bible, it's referring to the serpent. Singularly. And then in verse 16 of Genesis chapter 3, God talks to Eve, and he tells Eve, to the woman, he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In thy sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Okay, so the word thee in the Bible refers to a single person. Okay. Now, when you get to Genesis 12, God is talking to Abram, who later God changes his name to Abraham, right? But so Abram is Abraham. Okay, so God's talking to Abraham here. Now the Lord said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show thee. Okay, so he didn't tell Abraham, hey, I'm gonna show bring your dad and your grandpa and your uncle, and I'm gonna show you guys this piece of land. No, he said, Get thee, he's talking to Abraham, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show thee. And he's still talking to Abraham, and I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and I will make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. Now, why am I showing you this? Because there's a lot of people that